especially top lane, you might have faced a champ with what many like to call an overloaded kit. What does that mean? Well, according to this guy on Reddit, and he has 500 upvotes, so he's definitely a reliable source, an overloaded kit is one that just has way too many things going on. These are the guys who have spells with essays for descriptions, conditional added effects, and random bullshit that just got added in for seemingly no reason. When facing such a champ, you're likely to be left asking, who the gave this the green light? With 168 champions in League and counting, there are definitely going to be a few that raise an eyebrow here and there. But I've identified 3 champions that just made me question what the hell were Riot's devs smoking. This is Cassante, a champion with high HP, armor, and magic resistance. He's a tank that focuses on being his team's shield, frontlining, face tanking skill shots, and protecting his teammates. Until he presses R, kidnaps your ADC, dunks on him, and hits him with a too small. Cassante is a tank that can not only turn into a damage-dealing bruiser, but can also isolate a squishy into a 1v1 situation. He also has a passive that gives him max % health damage, meaning he will always hurt, a close range spell that slows that after hitting 3 times in a row becomes a projectile that sends targets airborne while pulling them back, an uninterruptible dash that also stuns and reduces incoming damage, and another dash that gives a shield but also has increased range when used on an ally. Also, the ally gets the shield too. Did I mention that his DPS scales off of his armor values? So unlike other tanks who would have to build damage items to deal more damage, he builds armor items, which he's supposed to be building anyway to deal more damage. He is a tank that took all of the class's weaknesses like low mobility and low solo kill potential and said that he's having none of that. We also have Yone, a scaling fighter that gets stronger with items. His passive makes every second auto attack deal partial magic damage instead of just physical, which means he'll still hurt even if you build full armor against him. He also gets free crit rate from items at the cost of dealing slightly less crit damage. He also turns extra crit rate into additional attack damage, cause why not? Like Cassante, he has a short range damaging ability that after hitting twice, sends out a projectile that knocks up enemies. It also functions as a gap closer, as it makes Yone dash in the direction of the projectile. This is his primary damaging ability, and it gains a shorter cooldown and cast time the higher Yone's attack speed value is, which means he doesn't need to build ability haste to cast it more often. His second skill is a sweeping slash that deals both physical and magic damage, scaling off of the target's max health. That also gives him a shield, which also gets stronger the more enemy champions hit. Its cast time scales with attack speed, because of course it does. Much of Yone's power budget also comes from his third spell. This places a spirit upon casting, makes Yone dash forward because why not, and gives him bonus move speed. After 5 seconds or a free cast early, he returns to his spirit, which is an uninterruptible dash because Riot Games, and deals a portion of the damage he's dealt during the cast as true damage. Also, it cleanses any and all CC effects. Remember, Yone is supposed to be a scaling champion that gets stronger with levels and items, but his basic abilities are all strong trading tools, allowing him to poke, win trades with his shield, deal damage, then get out for free. The cherry on top, none of his spells cost mana, so he can just spam everything without worrying about managing an extra resource. And finally, let me introduce you to the last overloaded kit offender. Meet Akshan. He's a ranged assassin who's all about getting in, dealing quick damage, then getting out. Akshan's attacks always shoot twice, with a second shot dealing less damage. At any point, he can cancel the second shot to gain a burst of movement speed. Also, upon damaging an opponent 3 times with either his attacks or any of his spells, they're dealt bonus damage and he gets a shield. And that's just his passive. He also throws a boomerang that deals damage both ways, extending its range for each enemy hit, and upon hitting a champion, he's also granted a movement speed buff. He also has a grappling hook that lets him swing around terrain, shooting a barrage of attacks at the nearest enemy while swinging. It also gets a cooldown reset upon takedown. For Akshan's ultimate, he charges a barrage of bullets that deal more damage the lower the enemy's HP is, but that doesn't matter because it'll almost always be blocked by minions or structures.
Alright, seems pretty strong. Never seen him in a game.